Well, hello and welcome to German Cinema Now, a monthly program from Goethe Pop-Up Seattle together with Northwest Film Forum. My name is Martin Schwartz. I'm the program curator at the Pop-Up, and I will not conceal that programming this series is my favorite part of the job. As a very special adjunct to our US premiere screening, which I can't believe, of this psychedelic and inspiring film Orphea, I am truly and sincerely honored to welcome the film's co-director. He's directed over 50 features and countless shorts, created musical albums, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, poetry collections, art and architecture installations, and worked in nearly every medium known to humankind. Joining us from Manila, where it's midnight, after what I'm sure has been a very busy day, it's Khavn, aka Khavn de la Cruz. Welcome, Khavn, and thank you so much for finding the time.
All right, thanks, Martin.
So we mentioned by email that we could start with a little game, and I thought that that would be a great idea to include our viewers at home. So as many of you may know, the film is a collaboration between Khavn and Alexander Kluge. And some parts were created by you, Khavn, and some parts by Kluge. So I thought we would play a game called Khavn or Kluge, by which we'll name a sequence and you at home shout out Khavn or Kluge, and then after a second, maybe Khavn, you can give us the answer. Does that sound good? Let's do it.
All right.
So Khavn or Kluge, the title sequence with the lovely line drawings and the soulful keyboard. Khavn or Kluge?
Do I speak now?
Yeah, please. Yeah. Just right after.
Yes, we did that in I think one, because actually it's a bit of a blur, the whole process. I remember Lilith Stangenberg was in Manila in the Philippines for 1 week.
Yeah,
that's when we recorded the album, and shot everything, except maybe one extra day for scenes where Lilith is not there, but maybe not. I also forgot because now I remember the Love is a Dog from Hell.
Yeah,
like the Orphea. Those were shot when Lilith was still there, because I remember she was rolling on the floor where the text was painted on, and yeah, it's mainly done by Zeus Bascon, my costume designer, and also Roxley, considered as the father or godfather of Philippine experimental animation.
Yeah. Who also did your stop motion sequences, right?
Yes, he did the middle part of Alipato, and so on and so forth.
That's terrific. So then, just so people get a sense of who did what, when Orphea is lip syncing a man's voice reciting a classical version of the Orpheus story, that would be Kluge, right?
No, that's mine. Actually,
is it really? Okay. Okay.
No,
I was like, did I totally misunderstand the picture? No.
I think that was Alexander's voice, right?
It sounded like it. It sounded like it. I wasn't sure.
Voice, and it's like an on the spot,
Exactly. Cool. And just one more for good measure. An electric keyboard is set on fire in an orgiastic musical rite. Kluge or Khavn?
Yes, that's mine. I think that was because the first official shooting day, where maybe I don't know, 60% of my part were done, was shot for 1 whole day in this abandoned elementary school, and
wow,
one of the last scenes that we shot, because we were also playing it safe, because we were afraid that after we did this very noisy concert, we will be kicked out. But we managed to stop as soon as possible, so the neighbors weren't able to complain.
Gorilla.
The that's it.
That's awesome. So just to make sure I understand this correctly, you shot
I miss my organ.
Was that yours?
My organ.
That was yours
Yeah,
that you did.
I remember. I mean, there's a. I have a new old organ, but it's not working so well. That one was working quite well, but we needed an organ at that point. I thought, okay, it's easy to get another one, but it turned out it wasn't so easy to replace it.
You destroyed your organ for art. Like Orpheus throwing his lyre away. That's terrific. So let me just make sure, because you said something very calmly that I'm kind of shocked by. You shot 60% of the material for your part of the film on one day?
Yeah, I mean, I've made features in one day. I call them day-old flicks. I mean, less than a day, less than 24 hours. So the bulk was shot in this abandoned elementary school.
Yeah.
And then the other days we had to go in different parts of Manila, and also outside Manila, Zambales, where we shot my other film Balangiga. And then that's it.
That's incredible. And so what kind of equipment do you bring along?
Equipment?
Yeah.
Oh yes, this film I think we shot because there was like a 4K camera, an ordinary photo camera,
Yeah.
Harinezumi toy camera.
Yeah, I was curious about that. Yeah.
Yes, Super 8 footage, drone, and sometimes multiple cameras of like sometimes there were a 360 camera. We also use that. Sometimes there was like 10 cameras on recording the same time.
It really contributes a lot for me as a viewer of the film to the experience of kind of multiple viewpoints, multiple experiences of the same moment, and it really gives me multiple orgasms, an extremely extended orgasm. No, but it's super cool, and it also kind of gives it this this urban but also like panopticon feel, like everybody is watching. Yeah, I mean, it seemed to me like that was another hallmark of the Khavn parts of the film as opposed to the Kluge parts of the film. And so then once you created this work, you would just send material back and forth with Alexander?
So, because I remember when we premiered Happy Lamento, our first collaboration, 2018, I think. We talked about working together again on something different, in the sense that because in Happy Lamento I already finished the film a few years before he saw it, and then he thought of chopping it up and and making a new film called Happy Lamento. Half of it, which is Alipato footage, and half of it is things that he came up with. And so this one, in a way, was starting from scratch. And we thought the Orpheus myth is a good intersection jump off point.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And
what was I talking about? Yeah.
Oh, we're just having a chat. Did Alexander ever come to Manila?
Oh yeah. So never. I think he was when 9 months before I was born, he went here. No, just no. That's a gossip that will never come to.
It's really funny.
So he was already in an Orphea mode of state of mind. Me as well. I wrote some songs of course, way before Lilith came over, and so before I shot the in this 7 day period, ah, I, I forgot, but maybe already. I think Lilith already shot with Alexander before she went here.
Hmm.
Lilith, we already have had the script for my version, and then so he had some idea what will happen, and then so after we shot the 7 days, we edited it into I don't know, a 4 hour, 5 hour film. Of course, which was too much, so we had to condense it to 2 hours or something,
Yeah.
and revising it several times. But after each after each version, I was sending it to Alexander, and sometimes he was already using footage from the drafts. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the what you see in the final Orphea is like different stages
Right.
of also of my editing uh, process.
Oh, that's interesting. So Alexander would weave in material as
Yeah,
he
it's
got
not,
it,
yeah.
basically. That's
Well, he was
cool.
kind of, I mean, I had my own editor here,
Right.
but he was like,
The Uber editor.
the master editor, which parts he really talked to him, and because as you can imagine, I had a lot of footage, and
Yeah.
which will be another full length film called Love Is a Dog from Hell. Uh, so the moments, the scenes, the shots that really talk to him. That's what was included in Orpheus.
So yeah, you mentioned by email this new film that's coming up, Love is a Dog from Hell, and the way that you talk about this film coming about, whereas your part of it began as however many hours, then became 4 or 5 hours, and then was basically kind of edited into half of a essentially feature length movie. So would it be fair to say that Love is a Dog from Hell then would be the final cut of your movie that you
Yes,
shot? So
right. That's
cool.
right.
Uh,
So I mean, it's the same at the same time, also different from Orphea.
mhm. Um, you mentioned the songs also, which I love, and I did not.
Yeah, you have the album.
No, I don't have the album. I got it.
Yeah,
Is it
it's on vinyl.
okay? I'll send away for it.
Right.
That's terrific. But so I obviously didn't
Well,
recognize the
although
songs.
interestingly, the album is also another part of the process.
Hmm.
It's not just the same version that you will hear in the film. So you will hear some parts of it, but then I went to Berlin. I don't know, some months after, and
Hmm.
recorded new versions of the songs. Lilith singing, me on the organ, and Bretzel Goring of Stereo Total
Wow,
doing drums and electronics.
terrific. Well, everybody listening and watching, buy the album. It is sure to be fantastic aesthetic experience.
It's better
So
than the film.
better than is that possible? So you wrote the songs, and I was sort of surprised to hear that your main inspiration from the songs was Rainer Maria Rilke. Can you tell us? I mean, Rilke obviously has a connection with the Orpheus material, but how did that come together for you?
Yes, I'm a big fan of his poetry, and this particular collection, The Voice, is I've always you know wanted to either I did my version of it, and but this for this particular project, it was I al- I also contemplated on using his sonnets,
Hmm.
uh the Orpheus, but I think that was too literal. So
Right.
yeah.
The song that it kind of repeats through the film. Why doesn't God throw me in the dump? Is that
Yeah,
um,
in Russian.
in Russian, and it actually sounds to me totally
Yeah,
convincing as a Russian like pop karaoke song.
yeah. The some after we premiered it in Berlinale,
Yeah.
some Russians came up to me and asked where they can get the song.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I missed this song. It must have come out in Moscow before my time or something. No, it sounded like something that I could have very well imagined hearing in a nightclub, CD nightclub, late at night. Someone like, oh God, throw me in the dump. No, I thought that was terrific, and I never would have put together the Rilke connection. So you've done something new there. Um, I just wanted to talk a little bit about where you feel like this fits in with your other work, because you talked about Alexander already being in the Orpheus state of mind coming into this. And it seems to me, so I watched a few of your films in the last couple of weeks, and maybe in a way you were also in the Orpheus state of mind. Because in your beautiful essay that accompanies the German press packet, you talk about the story of Orpheus as being boy meets girl. They fall in love knowing their love is doomed, and they try to make it work anyway. And then you go on to say, in a beautiful analogy, that love in our world is too often like instant coffee, and that there's very rarely any risk or sacrifice required. And obviously, the story of Orpheus and Euridike, or Orphea and Euridiko, opposite of instant coffee, and so maybe is your film Ruined Heart. It's kind of a similar subject matter. Do you feel like there's kind of a natural progression there?
Yes, in a way. And actually, you can even connect it to I think Squatter Punk and Mondo Manila,
Mm-hmm.
and then Alipato being a kind of anti-sequel, and also Ruined Heart, which is a more romantic version,
Yeah,
and then Orphea, coming out of that space.
yeah. And the you feel so the film is obviously, it's your part of it is very much in Manila, and yet a lot of your cultural reference are European. The Orpheus myth is a Greek myth, but at the same time, it seems to me that for you these are all kind of universal cultural touchstones. Is that right?
Exactly. I mean, everything's up for grabs these
Yeah.
days, and yeah. And as I also mentioned before, like Dino Buzzati's poem strip, which is his version of the Orpheus myth.
Yeah.
It's one
And
of the inspirations.
did you find, so this is a 1969 comic book version of Orpheus, that I learned about from you, which did you come across this before or after you started working on the movie?
Before, actually, Stefan Hall of Rapid Eye Movies, my co-producer here, they really love this book,
Uh-huh.
and then they gave me a copy, and I also was blown away, and yeah.
I've got to find a copy, yeah. Um,
I remember really liking Blood of a Poet, yeah, by
yes.
Cocktail.
Yes. Yeah, no, I thought about the Cocteau movies, especially Better the Poet, quite a lot looking at the films. And yeah, for me, it's the middle Orpheus, that comes out with the things that you don't expect. And there's so many of those in Orphea. Um, you talk a lot about, you mentioned a few times in your press packets that it was important to switch Orpheus's gender, and that changes the story in a significant way. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's working with the Givens, like collaborating with Alexander and also collaborating with Lilith, which is
Mm-hmm.
in a way the third member of the band. And yeah, I mean, and I really can't imagine her just playing this helpless Eurydice,
Right.
and so yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So the collaboration with her
Was
informed the
also
decision.
was also before. Yeah, yes, exactly. I had this. Do you know Akud in Berlin? I had a gig there,
Hmm.
and showed some silent films and played some music, and then that's where I met Lilith,
Oh, cool.
uh, who really liked Ruined Heart and my other films, and yeah, so we also started, but that was, I think, things really happened very fast, like
It seems that way.
I remember 2008. So you can imagine 2018 Venice. We Alexander and I chatted about it, and then I think we shot. What year is it? I think yeah, we shot 2019. So
Wow.
just count the months. Venice, I forgot which month. August, September. I think we shot January of 2019.
Yeah.
Maybe I played in Akud, Berlin, sometime between Venice and that time, and yeah, yeah.
You're bringing your
Just
24-hour filmmaking style to the European art film circuit. It's incredible. Um, I wanted to ask, just kind of before we run out of time, I wanted to ask a couple of kind of thematic questions. There's a late movement in the film that deals with the death of children. And I'm a father. I think, are you a father also?
yes, I have 5 kids.
My goodness, yeah. Um, and that subject matter upsets me terribly. Obviously, it's disturbing. It's also a part of art, and we have to, and part of life, and we have to accept it. But even
One
so,
of my daughters was in the film. I mean, my youngest, my son was there, but he was there for like a few seconds,
mm,
like the little version of Euridiko, the little devil.
okay, yeah,
But then there's an angel. I don't know if you remember. There was a girl singing an
yes.
angel. Yeah, that's also my daughter. That's
Oh,
my
that's your
daughter.
daughter. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Um, so I'm guessing the Brecht poem that was Alexander, the Children's Crusade poem about the hungry children, but then even seeing the photo of the drowned Syrian boy is just so affecting, and I wonder how does this kind of this late concern with the death of children fit in with Orphea's love for you or with the movie? Or is it trying to save from death that which you love most? Is it the horror of death?
Yeah. But I think it's better to message Alexander about that.
Okay, that was his edition
Yeah.
also. Okay.
What I can do is give you my version of the Russian karaoke song.
Oh, terrific. Yeah. Why doesn't God throw us all on the dump?
All right.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I think every night.
no doubt. Let me ask you one more question, and then I'll let you go to your well-deserved rest. The kind of theme of the film that's messaged in the titles and elsewhere is bringing back all the dead. And when I wrote you, what do you think about this? You gave me a wonderful answer, which was it depends. And I wonder if you could unpack that just a little bit.
Sorry, what what was the question?
What do you think about bringing back the dead? What does that mean?
Bringing back the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, bringing back the dead is a great idea if you're successful. 100%. You don't like a zombie hanging around
No,
your
no,
house.
no,
Yeah,
no.
and maybe, yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's part of this revision. Revising everything, revision,
Yeah, revisionist. Yeah.
revisionist, and but yeah, it depends. If you're, if you can just have all the good parts.
Mm,
Yeah.
which we never get.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's a fantasy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's part of life. This fantasizing aspect.
Yeah. Um, and reaching, but I mean, it seems to me that part of the Orpheus myth, or maybe the part of the key part is reaching, kind of using art to reach through the veil of death. And
Also, yeah, through the yeah, also like surviving life. As
okay.
Van said, like, 'cause, I remember someone asking me recently, what's the point of art during this pandemic? I said like one wild, weird, out of this world artwork a day will keep the doctor away.
Well, Khavn, you have provided us with our wild, weird, out of this world artwork for this day and maybe even for a couple of days. So I want to thank you so, so, so much for making the time to join us at midnight in Manila. And I truly look forward to seeing your next feature and everything else that you produce. And hopefully we can bring you to Seattle sometime. We'd love to see you here.
All right, Seattle's coffee.
Yeah, yes, we've got coffee. If you like coffee, come on over. We'll keep it warm for you. Thank you so much, Khavn.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
Martin.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Ciao.